The following content is designed for audio consumption. That sanctions against Russia have not been a great success is now a well-known fact. Two new studies confirm this assertion. Moscow has managed to reallocate its natural resources, the only true great wealth of its economy, and also to procure the technological components necessary for its war machine. The West may seek to make sanctions more effective, but it fears the increase in commodity prices in an already difficult time, and especially in an election year. India as a hub for Russian crude oil. The British newspaper The Independent analyzed clear data on Russian oil import-export. It emerges that India now imports 1.75 million barrels of Siberian crude oil per day, 140% more than in 2022 when Vladimir Putin ordered the invasion of Ukraine. This data is not surprising. New Delhi has a rather ambiguous international position. As a member, along with Japan and Australia, of the Quad, the American-led anti-Chinese alliance, it has never hidden its intention to intensify trade relations with Russia, which, after the start of the special operation, is looking for new markets for its raw materials. What is somewhat more surprising is that during the same period, European Union countries increased their imports of refined petroleum products from India by 115%. New Delhi is not a major producer of crude oil, so the equation is quite simple. India imports Russian oil at a discounted price, refines it, and sells it at full price to the European Union, which cannot buy directly from Moscow due to the sanctions imposed on it. The main Indian refinery is located in Jamnagar, an important port in the west of the country. Here, 400,000 barrels of Siberian crude oil arrive every day. 30% of the Jamnagar refinery's exports go to the European Union, with the main importing country being the Netherlands, 24%, followed by France, 23%, Romania, 12%, and Italy, 11%. Western components in Russian missiles. Western sanctions also appear to have failed regarding the technological components necessary for its military industry. According to a joint study by the Yermak-McFall International Sanctions Working Group and the KSE Institute, Moscow's capacity to produce missiles and drones, which require sanctioned microchips, has actually increased. Certainly, if Putin's violent offensive that began in recent weeks were to continue at this pace, production would not be able to keep up with consumption. However, the capabilities of the Russian war machine have not been particularly affected. From the wreckage of Russian drones and missiles recovered in Ukraine, it emerged that 48% of the microchips were produced in the West, mostly by U.S. companies such as Intel, Analog Devices, and Texas Instruments, while 45% were of Chinese manufacture. The components primarily come from China, with a significant portion coming from Turkey and the United Arab Emirates, demonstrating that Russia has managed to reconstitute its supply chains.
Russia withstand sanctions.
Western sanctions on Russia have arguably been the most epical in the history of this instrument. Although it initially took a hit, Moscow relatively quickly managed to reallocate its resources and still import what it needs, mainly through triangulations, as demonstrated by, for example, the large increases in exchanges between European countries and Armenia or Kyrgyzstan. In 2022, Russia earned $218 billion from the sale of oil alone, when the EU still accounted for almost half of its market, thanks to the increase in the price of crude oil. In 2023, this figure dropped to $178 billion, but with Europe now a marginal market, transferred mainly, at reduced but not too low prices, to India and China. Even the move to prohibit European ships from transporting Russian crude oil to third countries has not had the hope for success because Moscow, before this ban came into force, bought many ships at convenient prices from Western companies themselves. Making sanctions work in a world where more than half of humanity has not condemned the invasion of Ukraine is objectively complicated. Furthermore, regarding oil, there is also a Western interest in not tightening sanctions too much, for the simple reason that a drastic drop in the supply of Russian crude oil on the market would lead to a significant increase in prices. Inadvisable, especially in an election year like 2024. Thank you for your attention. We ask you to subscribe, leave a like and a comment. Thank you and see you next time.